Hello everyone, and welcome back to the High Council. Today we've got the latest databank download for Aurra Sing and the Bounty Hunters that come in the Cad Bane Fistful of Credits squad pack for Star Wars Shatterpoint. Before we get into it, just want to say thank you very much to everyone for checking out the content, for subscribing along to the channel, things like that. It's been really fun to make these over the last couple of months, and if you are enjoying the content, please do subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments for what your thoughts are on Aurra Sing and the Bounty Hunters that come in the pack as well. So let's have a little look at this. So we've got Aurra Sing and then the Bounty Hunters, which we can see here. I think it would be a lot cooler if we saw her maybe with a sniper rifle pose. I think that looks a bit more sort of iconic from what I imagine Aurra Sing looks like. And if you have a quick look over on the Asmodee website, it doesn't look like we get that the ability to have that flexible changing around. So yeah, we do just get the double pistols out, but it does kind of look quite bounty hunter-y, I think, especially with then this one here on the left, who is obviously very much going for it as well, all guns blazing. So bounty hunting is a perilous and lucrative profession. Let's get straight into her card. So first things first is we know that Cad Bane was the first 9 squad point primary. Aurra Sing here is our first 5 points cost secondary unit. So we did speculate whether that would be someone that we saw in the last video. So I'm glad that we've got it here. She's obviously bringing no force, but then it's Aurra Sing secondary unit. She's got 3 reactive abilities and a innate ability. So we've got the first one, double the contract, double the payout, which costs a force. After a character in this unit makes an attack as part of a combat action, this unit may use this ability. One character in this unit may make a 5 dice attack targeting a character in a different enemy unit. So it's very cool. One of the first ways that we're, along with people like Anakin, the first ability to use an attack more than once in an activation, which is very cool. And when we get into Aurra Sing's stance cards, you'll see why this is probably quite cool. But also the fact that she can just ping 2 separate units. If you've got, you know, one unit that needs 2 damage and another unit that needs 2 damage in her turn, she's potentially going to be able to wound both of those units, which is very nice. We've then got hit and run, the second one, also costing 1 force. After a character in this unit makes an attack as part of a combat action, this unit may use this ability. One character in this unit may reposition. So again, we're getting that kind of the ability to kind of do 2 actions within 1 action, which is very nice as well. And then her last one, payday. After you reveal an order card, this unit may use this ability. If it does, this unit gains 1 tag of your choice until the end of the turn. So we haven't talked about her tags at the minute. She currently only has the Bounty Hunter, Mercenary and Scoundrel tags. But if you're using this sort of thing, you can absolutely just pair that with whatever you want to make her really fit into whatever force it is you're running. So if you want it to be Galactic Republic, you can add her there. 501st, you can add her. If you want it to be a droid, you can add her. You get some of the benefits off of Kalani and Kraken and Grievous and things like that. So I think that's payday is something that's only going to get better. Does cost a force, which is a bit of a drawback for it. We talked about the fact that Cad Bane only brings 2 force. So Aurra Sing here has got 3 actions or 3 abilities that all use the force. Cad Bane, I've got his card open here, also has 3 actions or 3 abilities that use the force as well. So all of a sudden these bounty hunters are becoming quite force hungry. So it'll be interesting to see if there's someone that you can pair these bounty hunters with that maybe bring 4 or 5 force and try and balance out that need for force a little bit more. But then we've got a last one, expendable distraction. So when this character in the unit makes a ranged attack as part of a combat action, if the defender is engaged with 1 or more allied characters in units that are not wounded, it may add 3 dice to its attack roll. If it does, choose one of those engaged allied units. The chosen unit suffers 2 damage. So you're going to absolutely pound on someone, but you are then going to potentially damage your own unit at the same time. Very nice. High risk, high reward. Feels very much like the bounty hunter way. And then she's coming with 8 stamina and then a durability of 2 as well. So kind of the average that we've seen for a secondary unit. And if we get into her stance card, this is where things then start to get really nice. So first thing we're going to look at is we've got this range 5 attack, 7 attack dice, 5 defensively against range, or 6 in melee, and 5 defensively as well. But if we take a look at these expertise we've got here, we've got her range expertise, 1 for 1 damage, 2 to 3 for a crit and a damage, 4+ for 2 crits and a damage from that ranged attack. And if you think, if you are going for it and using this expendable distraction ability, then all of a sudden we're going to roll 10 dice. And as we get into the combat tree, we'll see exactly how much damage she's going to be able to pull out. But if we're doing an engage attack, 1 expertise becomes a hit, 2 becomes a crit, 3+ becomes a crit and a hit. And then, interestingly, on her defensive expertise, 1 to 2 becomes a block and then turn a crit to a fail. And then 3+ becomes a block, turn a crit to a fail. And I want to say it's get a free climb action, which is the first time we're going to see a climb action, I think, on an order card or a stance card like this. I can't think of anyone else that's got the climb action there. But it's, yeah, it's just quite interesting because it means that unless I'm wrong, you can't climb if you're engaged with someone, so you're only going to get that benefit of that climb if you are essentially being attacked by a ranged attack. But the fact that you can then climb to any elevation is obviously probably what she wants to be. I think she wants to be someone who's up on top, sniping someone away, but just quite a nice thing there. And if we look at her combat tree, we're starting off always with 1 damage and then the pinned condition, followed by 2 damage and the strained condition before we make our first choice. And then we can either go up to do damage, shove, damage, and a climb. So obviously not the jump, the climb action there, which is again adding to this dexterous dodge bit. Or we continue straight down the combat tree for 2 damage and exposed, a reposition, and 2 damage as well. So she's got some real ability to put out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 damage from her if she gets all the way down the 6 steps down the combat tree. And if you think, if we're going to mix this 7 attacked ranged with this expendable distraction for rolling 10 dice, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that you do get down the full way of the combat tree. And the chances are you're probably going to be adding in the damage from her expertise as well. So the chances are you're probably doing 9 damage if you really want to, whilst also giving someone a pinned, a strained, and an exposed. So they're probably shaking the strained off as action number 1, in which case you've effectively made it 1 less action for that person to have as well, whilst also pinging on them a shed load of damage, whilst also getting your own free reposition out of it. Yeah, I really like Aurra Sing. That's my initial thoughts about it. I think she'll be cracking. The fact that she's 5 points cost kind of means that she's being run with either like a Cad's Bane or in the Kalani type role at the minute. So with a 3 points cost second supporting unit like the Magna Guards. I think Magna Guards are a 3 points cost. They are indeed. Just wanted to double check. The Magna Guards, the 501st or B1s, or the Armoured Recon Force. So some opportunities there to kind of mix up who she's coming with and what she's being taken with. But that 5 points cost obviously is a big chunk of what you're going to be doing there. But if we add in things like double the contract, double the payout. So we've then got that 5 dice attack targeting a different unit. 5 dice attack, you're probably going to get 3 successes if you take into account crits and things like that. So the chances are, even in that, you're going to be putting out, at least 4 or 5 damage and a couple of conditions at the same time. So yeah, I think Aurra Sing is going to be very nice. And then we get on to just the bounty hunters. I think my first reaction to these is I'm a little bit disappointed they're just called bounty hunters. I thought they might have had like a cool name or something like that, or Cad Bane's crew or something like that. But if we take a look at these guys, so they are a 4 points cost, and then they are a split affiliation, which looks a lot like it is. I think it's Fall of the Jedi and Age of the Rebellion as the two mixed factions here. It looks a little confusing. I've got the core rules here, so yeah, it looks definitely Fall of the Jedi, definitely Age of the Rebellion, which is then quite nice because if you think about it, we can add them into the Age of Rebellion, along with people like the Inquisitors, which would just be quite cool if you see you've got the Inquisitors, Vader's bounty hunters, things like that, running around after them. But they are 4 points cost, so kind of a standard for the supporting unit, and then they come in pairs of 2. And then they've got 3 abilities, but they've got the Bounty Hunter, Mercenary, Scoundrel, and Trooper tag. And then this is quite nice here. So they've got exactly the same stamina and durability as Aurra Sing. So they've got 8 stamina and 2 durability as well. So quite chunky. And then we've got 3 abilities here. So on the trail, at the start of the unit's activation, each character in this unit may dash towards an enemy character, which is very nice. A free move for both characters as well, from their tactic ability there. And the fact that it's each character as well, it's not just one of them, they both get the move towards an enemy character, which is quite nice. We've then got the first active ability, Tools of the Trade, which is going to cost the Force. Choose one of the following effects. Choose an enemy unit within range 3. The chosen unit gains the disarmed condition. Or characters in this unit have Sharpshooter 2 and Impact 2 until the end of the turn. So you want them to be rolling those extra dice probably more often than not. And you're probably going to take that Sharpshooter 2 and Impact 2. But the ability to just ping on a disarmed on someone is very nice and can be very good on an Anakin Skywalker, and Mace Windu, someone that's got some crazy expertise that you just want to get them to stop using. And then they've got pay there as well, so the same as Aurra Sing. After revealing an order card, this unit may use this ability. If it does, this unit gains 1 tag of your choice until the end of the turn. So exactly the same. You give them whatever you want. You want them to be Fire First, you want them to be Separatist, you want them to be Inquisitorious, anything like that. They can take all of them there. And then we have a look down at their stance card, which isn't, in my opinion, overly overwhelming. It's kind of average, I think, for your secondary. It's definitely your support. Sorry, definitely not one of the ones that are going to be screamed and shout about, I think. But it's everything else that comes with them that you really like. So they've got a range 5 attack, and for their range 5 attack and for their melee attack, they're rolling 6 dice offensively both times, and then they're going to roll 5 defensively against a range attack and 4 defensively against a melee attack. In that range attack, their expertise is going to convert 1 to 1 hit and 2 to a crit and a damage. Their melee or engaged expertise is going to become 1 for 1 hit, 2 for a hit and an auto damage. So quite nice the fact we're getting some auto damage out there. And then their defensive expertise, Patchwork Armor, 1 to 2 becomes 1 block, 3 becomes 2 blocks, and then 4 becomes 2 blocks and a heal. But if you think the fact that if you've used their ability for Tools of the Trade and you're giving them Sharpshooter or Impact, you're potentially going to be rolling 8 dice instead of the 6, which is quite nice. And if we look at the combat tree, we've got a decision to make right at the start. So they're either getting a damage and a shove if we're up top, or just 2 damage if we're down below at the bottom, before we then go into 1 long line for 1 damage and a pinned, 1 damage and a shove, and then an exposed. So only the ability to put out a maximum of 6 damage if you include the expertise per turn, but 5 damage from the combat tree. So you're probably not going to be putting out that much damage, but I think you will consistently be putting out damage if you are using this Tools of the Trade. But just as a reminder, these bounty hunters seem very force greedy, because they kind of want to use Force all for themselves. And if you think, you know, we go back to Cad Bane. Cad Bane is only bringing us 2 Force, remember. And he has 1, 2, 3. So he's got 3 Force abilities. Aurra Sing's got 3 Force abilities. So that's 6 out of 8 for the Bounty Hunters want to use some Force. And if we add in these guys here, all of a sudden it's 8 out of 11 abilities that they're going to want to use some Force. So yeah, we might see someone who's going to absolutely bring us loads of Force. But if you're just using them, if you don't care about your Force going on your, I don't know, your Galactic Republic or your 501st or anything like that, then Bounty Hunters using Force is going to be absolutely awesome. I am super excited about this. I'm really looking forward to getting these Bounty Hunters on the table. Definitely out of this pack and the We Are Brave packs of Padme or Queen Amidala and her handmaidens, I'm more excited to get these Bounty Hunters on the table. I think they're going to be absolutely awesome, and I look forward to getting them out there. That's everything. Obviously out in a couple of weeks, so thank you very much if you're still around. Please do let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and then we'll see you in the next video.